Y'all, it's August the 13th, 2018, and y'all, currently I'm in the middle of reading the transcript from the, whatever you want to call it, interview, interrogation, whatever, John Curcio, Nicholas Cruz of that room. Apparently he's the only one. Those are only two people besides Zachary that is in the transcript, from what I'm seeing. Alright. And I'm not really done reading it. Thing is, what I gotta mention is after seeing the video and it taking forever and ever to watch the video, I think, as you might assume, people would be better off, you'd be a lot better off reading the transcript. Right? You can watch the video, kind of get a feel for John Curcio and kind of get a feel for Nick Cruz, because we don't know too much about them. We don't know too much about their mannerisms. But reading the transcript is going to be a lot more efficient. I just got to let y'all know. And there's places where you can find it on the internet. So, like I said, halfway done kind of really focusing on it, reading this and that. And I don't have too much to bring to y'all as far as perspective yet, but I do have a couple things that I wanted to talk about with y'all. Alright, because we're exploring the theory, and it's probably illegal and criminal to do at this point, it's 2018, but we're exploring the theory right now of there being what's called targeted individuals, but I guess the person targeting the individuals. We're talking about targeted individuals, right? And that Nick Cruz could possibly be one. Well, if that is the case, then one or more people are targeting him. All right? It takes somebody doing it on purpose. All right? So, if you read the transcript, number one, you're going to be frustrated by everything that's redacted. And we're going to talk more about that probably in a whole separate video. All stuff's redacted, and when in the conversation things are starting to get redacted, this and that, we're going to analyze all that. But for the meantime, right now, I want to talk about the actual targeting. Alright? Because if you go through the transcript and read part of the transcript where they're talking about the voice, the demon, right? I know you've already noted a lot of things. There was only one voice. You remember that? It's not a voice that Nicholas Cruz can even recognize. Right? So it's not every time that your voice will, or your head will think of a brand new strange voice, and it's only one, I would assume. Is it possible? Sure is possible. Alright, but okay, so you made note of that. It is one person who comes and talks to Nick Cruz. Alright, you're also going to read through the transcript that this person only comes at certain times, if you will. And it makes you wonder if you're if you're a demon, maybe like you're just busy during the day, I'm not sure. But if you're a demon, why is it that you're so scheduled? Alright? Like he would come visit Nick Cruz. And this is one of the words of Nick Cruz. He would come visit him around 11, 12, around lunchtime. And then nothing until nighttime. And then, the voice would come back, alright? So it's very suspect. It's very suspect. And then, Nicholas Cruz talked about, okay, if he wanted the voice to stop, what he would do is keep moving. He would just move around and stuff. I'm not sure what exactly he means by that, but I have a couple things that I want to venture out there to you. Think about. Alright, number one, whenever he started hearing the voice and the voice telling him to do bad things, of course he would disagree. He wouldn't want to do those things. So what would he do? He would stay busy. Right. That's actually one thing that'll probably help out a little bit, is to stay busy, stay involved, be active. And I guess this was his one of the things that helped him keep the voice from up out of his head. I think that's very crucial, especially, like I said, for people who do have voices in their head for whatever reason. We plan to talk about that and share stories about that and things of this nature later. But he said in the transcript, he said over there in the interview room that he keeps moving, and then it gets the voice to stop. All right, so before we get out of here, what I mentioned, it's not like, okay, if they're targeting Nicholas Cruz, it's not like they have him hooked up with wires, right? This is all wireless. It's beaming straight to his head. As far as the theory goes, someone's beaming it to his head. All right, so if Nicholas Cruz moves around and he knows that the voice and stuff stops, all right, that's because someone's aiming the gun at him, or whatever you call it. They're aiming the machine at him, and when he moves around, guess what? It's harder to send the voice into his head. You have to re-find him. You have to point it back at his head. You know what I'm saying? That is what it takes. All right. So even without knowing anything at all, what's going on, even without knowing anything, Nicholas Cruz figures out, hey, if I move around that ray that's shining a voice into my head, or whatever, sending the voice into my head, he's completely ignorant of all of this. But he realizes if I move around, the voice will stop a little bit. The voice of one person over and over at specific times of the day it'll stop up a little bit. All right. How suspicious is that? That's the main question I want to ask before we get out of here. How suspicious is that? All right. And then before we get out of here, I did want to note that also the voice started about right after Nicholas Cruz's adoptive father died. All right. So real briefly, if you're trying to cultivate all sort of wind-up toys, if you're trying to speak into people's heads and you're targeting individuals, maybe you have more than one. Maybe you have to visit them on a schedule. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't have all day to do it. So maybe you've been cultivating them for years, all right? Just as little wind-up toys you can keep in your pocket. Maybe you find little children whose father died. All right, would it be that hard to find them? Because that person, that little child, would be vulnerable. Would be much more vulnerable than a child with two parents. And then when his mother dies, why don't you step it up? Why don't you step up your game? Because there's nobody to fend for this young boy, and he's all alone and stuff. So why don't you step up your voices? Why don't you? Because here's the thing: you've been cultivating it for a while now, and like I want to mention as well. So before we get out of here, gun control is not a new idea. Gun control is not a new idea. Alright, so those for gun control have been implementing their little plan Bs and plan Cs for a while now. That's what I'm here to suggest to you. It's August the 13th, 2018. I appreciate y'all. And I want to hear y'all's theories, want to hear y'all's opinions and perspectives. I might have this totally wrong and stuff, but I want to hear from y'all. And I appreciate y'all. I'll holler at y'all.